Welcome to round number 3 of the Apex Infotech Indy Elite Series on RaceSpotTV, streaming live on Facebook Live, and welcome to a cold day here in California. 65 degrees, it's windy, it's hard for these drivers to deal with. Williamson along with Cisco Scaramouza. What that means, Cisco, is it's very hard for these drivers to get themselves tire temperature right now, as qualifying is already underway.
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Fontana, California. But like you said, Will, that tire temperature is going to play a huge role here today. And of course, we're at a 2-mile track, and that means aerodynamics are going to be key tonight.
It is, as we ride ourselves on board with Austin Espartee on his second lap in qualifying right now. Adam Dott currently leading the way in terms of qualifications. Brandon Trost in second. Andrew Quintilla in third. Tim Holgate fourth. Joe Branch rounding out your top 5. Espartee second lap moves him up into 7th place. A couple of people still on track. Let's go on board with Marco Aurelio Brazil, 812 machine. Hasn't yet set a time, Cisco. We expect him to be fast here.
Yeah, we'll have to see as he's going to come across the line right now. It's a 31.876, so a slow first lap, but he's going to go for it all here on the second lap. Going to hit the apex of the corner. He's going to get loose. Throw that lap away. He's going to do anything. Well, it's all over for Marco in Brazil.
Yeah, that's not what you want to have happen. As we've got Michael Peters on track right now. I want to go and find Tim Doyle. He's currently in P number 8, but actually no, he's pulled off the racetrack, so he is done in terms of qualifications. 5 minutes then remaining in this session. Most drivers have now done themselves their requisite number of laps, and well, Adam Dott, Brandon Trost, the front row of the grid here. That's a salivating prospect. Tim Holgate in 4th though, outside row number 2 for the start of this one. That's not bad on a 2-miler.
No, that's not bad at all, and considering he continues to lead the points right now with 0 wins, consistency has been the key for that 06 car, and once again, showing he's very consistent. Maybe not top of the leaderboard, but he's going to be in that draft, and if he can keep up with the leaders today, he's within well a shot to get his first win.
Dan Liench past the line, up into 11th for him. As Wagner Pagoro is on track right now. We'll go on board with him. Currently P number 24. Second lap effort. Can he improve? Seems to be second lap effort is most important here because of the way these tyres are taking a while to come up to temperature. Pagoro there, right all the way down on the apron, over the paint, past the line. 16th. So not bad there for him. Maybe would have wanted a little bit more. Paul Jennings now is the last driver on track.
And he's coming through 3 and 4 right now, and probably looking to set a blistering second fast lap here. They only get 2 laps, so actually, no, he's going to slow it down. Didn't like what he had out of 3 and 4, so Paul Jennings going to throw that lap in the garbage bin. So that's it for the 74, and I think that's it for qualifying.
It pretty much is. It'll give us a moment in a moment to have a look through your starting grid for this evening's event. 3 minutes then technically are remaining in qualifying. 1 or 2 people haven't yet done their full requisite of laps. Having a look at those drivers, they are Christopher Demerit, Jim McClure, and Vinicius Margria. They all have got to go out. We hear some engine revs on pit road. And that
46?
is Margria, yeah. He's coming out.
So Marega going to roll out now, probably waiting to see how the wins were going to go, or maybe just waiting to see who goes on the lap board and who he has to beat here. So Marega going to take his warm-up lap here, coming down the back straightaway. What we're seeing right now, Will, that first lap really isn't too much here, so you got to make sure you take care of the tires and set yourself up to build speed for that second lap. That's going to be your fast lap here.
But everyone is using that first lap as a banker lap. If I was being bold, I would just basically run it around the high side throughout that entire first lap. Get yourself a bit more speed. That's
like
what
Mariah
is going to do. Yeah, a bit like at Daytona. And we see Mariga, you know, he is going to run this as an actual lap here. And I would have expected to see the bold drivers maybe just try and run an outside line, but get that second lap wrong, then basically you've got nothing to work with in terms of the race.
And you have 2 hours of practice beforehand. All the marbles and garbage is going to be at the top of the track, so maybe a little bit of peril to do that. Though the 46, he is running fairly high here. Going to come down to the bottom, but he's not on that flat there. So he's going to take another stab at it. First lap coming in, yeah, very slow, a 31.753. So this is going to be the fast one as he heads through 1 and 2 right now.
Yep, we'll stay on board of him then. And you see where you need to be to get inside of your top 5. It is, sorry, top 15 even. It's about a 31.4. Have a look at Mariga's lap times to boot. Last time by 31.7. He needs more. Down. He now comes onto the flats. 14th.
Not bad. Not a bad lap. That's going to put him more or less, well, it's going to put him right on the border of the top half of the field right there. So great run from the 46. He's going to start 14th, a little bit in the middle of the pack, which means he's going to have some traffic to deal with once we head to the starting grid.
Yeah, and let's talk about traffic very quickly, because that is going to be a big factor here today. Technically,
can we just roll footage of the MAV TV 500 from a couple of years ago?
Yeah, we might as well.
We can just talk about traffic on that.
It really is a 3-4 lane, 4 groove racetrack here. It's not as highly banked as Michigan. Michigan is banked higher at 18 degrees. This is banked at 14 degrees. But lanes 2 and 3, if you can get your car working there, you can pass on the inside, pass on the outside.
And the aerodynamics are going to be such a huge key because we're going to see this a lot. It's going to look a little Daytona-esque out there just because of how the packs are going to form here. And like we kind of saw at Homestead, these guys, when you get out of that draft or out of the slipstream of a car, your car is suddenly going to feel like it's got way less power than it actually does. So you have to be careful of that and how you're going to wear those tires. Because you fall out of that groove even once, and your tire wear is just going to basically go out the window.
There's your top 2 rows then. Adam Dock, Brandon Trost, front row of the grid. Andrew Kinsella, Tim Holgate on the second row. Cycle it on back for you. Joe Branch, P5. Stephen Pauly in 6th. Troy Eddy, Austin Espati, Tim Doyle, and Bradley Walters round out your top 10. Rest of that grid cycling up on your screen for you now. Tire temperature is going to be critical. These cars are going to be squirrely. I think the technical term is loosey-goosey the first couple of laps.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a free car for a lot of these guys out here. We see a couple teammates onto the grid already. Oh, that's interesting. The 610 and the 50, those two, I believe, are teammates. They have the same paint scheme on my end. So, little bit of team cooperation. But can you have a lot of cooperation at Fontana? I mean, really? Well, it's going to be such a wild card once you get out on that track.
This, of the races we've had today, is more than ever the thinking race, in my opinion. You've got to be bold in terms of making moves when it counts, but you don't want to make them on lap number 5. This is a 150 lap race here. That means in terms of fuel, this is in the boundary of 4 full tanks of fuel. So these guys will have to be bold in terms of strategy as well as track placement.
And do you think that, because I'm looking at the schedule right now, you know who won this race last time we were out here?
Go on.
Christopher Demerit. He's starting, he didn't even qualify, so I think Demerit is a little bit worried about that traffic and maybe some havoc playing out early.
And it might be worth you thinking, for the start of this one, where do I want to be? Do you want to be at the front? Not always.
And, I mean, if it was a case where he went out front to lead the pack, you're basically a sitting duck the way draft package works with these Indy cars. If you're that guy out in the lead, it's basically just going to be the leader swapping back and forth, and Demerit also coming letting him know. So want to stay off the apron, Will. So watch the apron tonight. And, of course, going through the corner here, this is something we like to affectionately call it on LSR TV, auto-clubbing it. When you go through the corner and just nick that apron. It's so easy to do here. You hit that white line, because the white line, that's not the, hey, the apron's down below this. That's the, oh, you're on the apron now. And at that point, it's too late. You got to be careful with this. Be careful to where to put that front left tire, because otherwise you're going to find yourself spinning out of control and maybe into the traffic. That would not be good.
Yeah. grid along the bottom of your screen for you then one more time. As I would say, yeah, the banking here, it's harder to work with than it is at Michigan. You kind of slide down the banking here rather than bouncing back up. But when you do touch that banking, that apron, there's a good chance you're going to spin that car all the way around. So, here we are then, round number 3 of the championship, Auto Club Speedway. Got to thank, of course, the captain, Roger Penske, for all the work he did at this racetrack and the time that he owned it. Pace car is going to head himself through turn number 3 and 4 in just 1 moment's time. Front of your field then will be Adam Dock in the number 99 machine. And about 1 moment's time, we're going to go racing. Through turn number 3, the drivers come now. There you can see the front of your field. Getting ready for 150 laps. Here in cold, chilly Fontana. It's in the foothills of the mountains. Pace car comes off on towards pit road. Let's get this show on the road then. 150 laps. We are green.
Side by side are going to go the leaders right now. So they head to turn 1. We're already going to go for it right now. 3 wide for the lead of this race. Adam Dock down the bottom side in that 99. He's going to get the good run through the corner. Here comes the 007. He's going to cut underneath. Brandon Trost down on the inside. They're swapping for the lead already. Battle for the lead as they head into turn 3.
Yep, historically, in terms of IndyCar leagues, this track has more lead changes than any else. And already, we've got a new leader. It's Brandon Trost at the end of lap number 1. Holgate up into 2nd place already. The drivers are moving, and Doc falling back actually on that outside line at the start of this one.
And maybe he's falling back to maybe getting the slipstream a little bit. Didn't quite get the start he was hoping for. I think he wanted to pull away a little bit. Not going to happen. Now Tim Holgate going to go to the bottom side here. The 06, he's going to get that inside groove through 3 and 4 right now. He's going to get the lead when they come out of 4. But will he have it at the line? It's going to be a drag race. 007 going to come for it. He's got it at the line. Tim Holgate was not able to lead that lap because Brandon Trost just stole it from underneath him.
Yep, so Trost leads then on lap number 2, as he did at the end of lap number 1. You can hear, though, these drivers, as they work themselves through turn number 1 and 2, the way the wind is, very different racetrack between the 2 different ends, and Kinsella right now going side by side. Adam Dock, Austin Espartee there in the mix as well. Tim Doyle and Troy Eddy going side by side. Battle for the race lead. Who's going to lead it? It'll be Troy Steasley at the line that time by. We only get excited about lead changes when they are literally neck and neck at the line, but already getting ourselves into a nice early rhythm. That's the sort of thing this race needs. It's rhythm.
Yeah, it's rhythm. These guys need to, it's kind of have an ebb and flow of it a little bit, kind of like what we saw at Homestead, the leaders swapping the lead every lap or so, but I'll tell you what, it's pandemonium back there for 5th right now. Andrew Kinsella, you look behind him, it's craziness back there. 2 wide right now. Behind him, Adam Dock and Austin Espartee. Dock is falling way back as they're going to go 3 wide. Yep,
in towards 1, they'll go 3 wide. We talk about this being a 3, maybe even a 4-groove racetrack. Number 14 machine is Andrew Kinsella, Austin Espartee, and the 777. And in the number 39 is the driver of Troy Eddy. Just coming into your shot now is Troy Eddy. Actually, that's the number 99 machine of Adam Dock, who's in the Norton colored cars, which started this race right at the front, has fallen back. And this is the thing, when you start your race out front, you got your options. Lead from the front or fall back. But I have to say, maybe Doc's in a precarious position because he's at the front of the 2nd pack now rather than being at the kind of rear of the 1st.
Yeah, he's kind of fallen back into traffic here, and this is where all that dirty air is. Air is going every which way because of how many cars you have around you. That's going to be a little bit dangerous. The 99 going to cut off the 14. That's going to check him up a little bit. And here comes on the outside. It's going to be that 11 of Tim Doyle, actually going to jump to the inside. Little bit apron, can't go down there. He gets out of it and gives that position back to Kinsella. Now Doc on the outside going to try and do something with Espartee. Not going to happen, though, and he's going to fall way back. I don't think Doc has that car the way he wants it right now.
No, he doesn't at all. He's struggling. And what it does mean is your top 3 drivers have pulled away as a consequence. Look at Joe Branch, just sat there in 3rd. holding himself in draft range, but doesn't want to get too close to the front. He is in proper fuel economy mode at the start of this race. Tick the laps off, get yourself up to a point where you can make it work later on. Joe Branch is doing a thinking man's race right now.
And it looks like Holgate's going to do the same thing. He kind of got close. He probably could go catch Brandon Trost and swap that lead back and forth if he really wanted to. Not in the mood for it right now, so he's going to fall in behind. And meanwhile, just looks like they're going to single file, at least for the moment. 99 finally going to drop in behind at number 777 of Austin Espity. And now, actually, nope, here we go again. 3 wide into 1. These guys, yeah, they're not fuel saving.
Nope, they're not. Yeah, Tim Doyle down on the bottom lane there. You see, though, that Tim Doyle on that bottom lane, he had no grip at all there. And he loses the position to Austin Espity as a consequence. That's what I mean. In terms of if you can hold the bottom, you'll be lucky. But realistically, like Michigan, lane 2 is arguably your best way around this racetrack.
Yeah, and looking, the lead's getting a little bit close. Tim Holgate just keeping an eye on him. No, he had an opportunity. He could have gone for it. So, yeah, confirmation on the 06. He is saving because he could have gotten the lead and didn't decided against it, back down the throttle a little bit. And a little bit of dust being kicked up there. Joe Branch, meanwhile, behind him. Yeah, those three just content to ride behind each other. He had an opportunity. As we look back at this continuing battle for that number 11 car, the number 14 car, Adam Dock as well in that battle. And yeah, they're not settling down anytime soon. Now Bradley Walters going to jump to the inside of that number 14 of Kinsella.
As behind, in pack number 3, Troy Eddy scrapping it out right now with Andreas Eek. 11 laps into this event. Caution free so far here on RaceSpotTV on Facebook Live. Hello to everyone who is joining us. From what I see, a bit of a start and park there because of the demerit. He is the only driver out. Jim McClure started this race from the rear. He is still running at the rear of this field. He's going to say, because McClure actually trying to move himself past Jose Godoy right now, up into 27th place. He's looking for, but couldn't do so that time by. Holgate has taken the race lead away. Trost down into second.
I think he was waiting for his move to come in, maybe the tires to heat up a little bit more, and Tim Holgate said, thank you very much. I think he started catching the 007 a little bit more, and decided, you know what, maybe I can lead this thing and save fuel at the same time. 007, though, he's going to get in that slipstream, and we talk about how important this is. Look at how much time he gains right there. Going to jump to the inside of Tim Holgate as they head into turn 1 right now. Brandon Trost going to have a great run on that bottom. He's going to get right there, and Tim Holgate's got to make sure he doesn't get swept up by Joe Branch in that 28 either.
As Petit loses a position, he's down into 7th. Andrew Kinsella moves up 1. Here comes Holgate once again, bottom of the racetrack through turn number 3 and 4. Holgate, this time by, will have the momentum off the corner. Will he lead the lap? Yes, he will.
And back down to the bottom goes Trost. So they're happy to scrap it out right now. So maybe not taking it easy now, or if they are, maybe they're in a different fuel mix and they're just going to race it out on a lower fuel mix, but continuing to battle. And I think Joe Branch is just happy to just let them do that because he could just sit behind and save. Actually, no, now I say that, he's going to go to the bottom of the 007. So the battle's on between these three cars for the lead now.
Yeah, Joe Branch might use this as an opportunity to try and lead a lap early if he can. So therefore, he's noted, no point in trying to get the lead into 1 and 2. What you want to do is trying to get it out of 3 and 4, but Branch there, slow through 1 and 2. Holgate very high there, out of turn number 2. And well, it looks like it's high, but of course you've got plenty of room as now Trost is going to go back down to the inside of Joe Branch through turn number 3 and 4. Move Trost back up into 2nd place just for the moment as we now go on board with Joe Branch. Confirmation there, he's back into 3rd.
Yep, and he's back to saving a little bit behind these guys, watching them battle it out, and he's going to be able to save tires because he'll be able to run the groove he wants to behind these guys. You can see him, he wants to run that bottom side. I don't know if he's maybe more comfortable with putting the car down there, but either way, the battle is on for that 1st and 2nd spot. Actually, the 007 going to drop back a little bit, maybe saving a little bit, or just kind of in the wake of that air hit in his car, got sent back a little bit. Now he's going to start to gain that ground back with the slipstream across the line. Holgate's going to lead that lap, but I don't know if he's going to lead the next.
Worth noting, by the way, that Tim Doyle is now at the front of that pack, but they're 2.1 seconds behind your leaders. And we talk about cautions here, and there are going to be many now who says I'm about to jinx it, but this can be a caution-free race if everyone works together. And that means that a 2-second gap right now might be insurmountable.
Yeah, and if that is not good for these guys at all, especially if you've kind of lost that lead pack. I mean, Tim Doyle, Adam Dock, they're not in a very good position because they're single file right now. But even with the leaders scrapping the way they are, they're not gaining enough time to get up there until a little bit later. Actually, they are starting to gain a little bit. You're starting to see them close up because the leaders keep going side by side, and Brandon Trost just got the short end of the stick, had to get way out of the gas, and now Joe Branch goes from third to first in one straightaway.
Joe Branch leads away then out of corner number 4. Towards the start-finish line they come again. Joe Branch leads a lap. That's important for him. Now Holgate looking to the outside, in towards turn number 1 and 2.
And
Outside line not working for him.
Yeah, but Joe Branch threw down a really fast lap that last time by a 32-1. You look at Tim Holgate and Brandon Trost, they were off by almost 4/10 and 5/10 respectively. Now they're going to go side by side behind. That's the difference for aerodynamics right there. You look at the aerodynamics, as Trost is going to have, well, he's going to have a nose maybe. Side by side of the line, this would be a good grandstand finish, but Trost is going to get him at the line there, and now he's going to go for more on Branch into 1.
Yep, takes the race lead back away then, does Brandon Trost through. Turn number 1 and 2 they come. Laps are ticking off quickly here. And the thing for this is, we're halfway through a fuel run already as well.
Yeah, and the fuel's going to be burning away. These cars are going to get ever so lighter as it happens. And already in cold temperatures, as you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, going to make that car just an itsy-bitsy little more free than what these guys might have hoped for. They'll just have to keep an eye on it as Joe Branch takes the lead back from Brandon Trost into 1.
Branch leads away. Second is Trost. Third is Holgate. Fourth is Doyle. Right now, in terms of the race so far, well, here's the people in your top 10 that's been making it happen. Tim Doyle is your second biggest lead mover inside of your top 10. Biggest mover, that's Niall McBride, currently in P number 9 after starting in P15 in this event. And, well, I have to say, not a bad start, actually, for Niall McBride in this one.
Yeah, and also a great job by Paul Jennings. He's up 10 places right now. He started back in 23rd. He's up to 13th right now. So Paul Jennings doing a great job on track in that 74.
Yep. As we just see the cars steaming past the exit of turn number 2.
Are you starting to think about pit stops yet, Will?
Not yet. At least another 15 laps.
A little bit on the outside. Sorry to jump on you there. Holgate thought he saw something on the outside. Got a little bit of a block from the 007. They got real close right there within a foot. And Holgate is content to ride the gearbox of that 007.
Let's listen in then. On board with Tim Holgate. All this is doing is allowing Joe Branch to pick up a bit of a lead right now.
And it's also allowing Tim Doyle and Adam Dock to really close that gap. I mean, they've closed in a fair amount on the leaders. And I mean, Tim Doyle, he can sniff a draft now, Will. He's right within that borderline to start getting slipstream. And that's going to turn this 2-car battle maybe into a 4 because he's probably going to bring Adam Dock along with him. And this is going to completely change the face of this battle for second right now. Because if these guys, they've been battling out for a while, Tim Doyle and Adam Dock, they've been content to just let them do it and catch up on that draft. So Tim Doyle, I think, is going to be in a very good position. He's been running the line he wants to. Maybe he has a little bit more left in those tires than our guys battling for second and third.
Right, it won't be this lap, but maybe in the next 2-3 laps, you'll see Tim Doyle's times really duck down. 31.7 last time by 32.0 that one. Side by side between Tim Holgate and Brandon Trost once again. Pretty close together they are that time. Oh, Trost is around!
He's going to be to the inside there. He's going to get it stopped before the safer barrier down on the inside, but it all went wrong for the 007 side by side. And Tim Holgate, I mean, we'll take a look at the replay, Will. Holgate got loose. Holgate got loose.
Yep, I would say pretty bad form by Trost for bringing that car right back into the center of the racetrack. Could have used the warm-up lane there, but... well, there we see the back end of the incident. Let's try and recycle it a couple of seconds further, show you what happened. Here we are, side by side, through turn number 1, through turn number 2. Exit of the corner. Oh, yeah.
I think he hit some rubber or some debris up at the top of the track because, I mean, we talked about in the top of the broadcast, that top of the track, the guys weren't running up there during qualifying. I think that's probably why.
Yep, and Tim Doyle right now into the thick of it. As a consequence, Doyle up into P number 2. Holgate alongside him right now as we've got new business, but Joe Branch 1.8 seconds ahead of these guys. That's almost an unthinkable thing to hear about on a 2-mile racetrack like this.
Well, he hasn't had to worry about battling. I mean, those guys for second, they kept battling each other and it just allowed Joe Branch to basically just walk away with this thing. So not a lot of conservation. I think you and I were thinking there was going to be a little bit more as Holgate's going to have to really get out of it. And that's just showing they battled for so long. Well, I don't think there's anything left in that 06.
No, I think that he's abused those tires perhaps a little bit too much. I'm surprised that the driver of Brandon Trost isn't further down than what he is right now, and how he's still turning laps. But this will be something that we would love to see right now. Trost working himself back through a field. This could be a phenomenal sight.
Well, that car doesn't look very happy right now. I saw him going through 3 and 4, and he was bouncing around all over the place. Got a little piece of the apron I'm seeing now on the quick cast back, and right on the gearbox as he enters my picture is a Gaudello there in that number 10 car. But Trost, it's going to be hard for him to get through the pack with those really scuffed up tires.
Yeah,
now,
that's going to be the thing. Those tires are toast. There's no way Bryan loses 2 positions there. He's actually
on pit road.
Pit road. 31 laps in. Okay.
Maybe a little bit of a short pit. Maybe he's ready to get out of those tires. We'll have to see. A couple cars also on pit road I'm seeing now.
Robert Gorch, Joe Flanagan are all on pit road.
So maybe it's kicking off. It's a little early than I think what we were thinking, but maybe these guys not terribly happy with the tire wear.
Actually, I'll take it back. We are going to see a lot of people on pit road because Joe Branch is on pit road right now. Of course, where the fuel tanks are limited here, 31 laps is pretty much all they can get. Everyone onto the lane right now. Everyone is on pit road.
It's crazy down there. These guys, of course, have to make sure not to speed. And, I mean, speeding penalties got handed out plenty of times during the Monster Cup race today. But 28 into his pit stall, great entry for him. Of course, these pit stalls, plenty of space for these guys here, Will. These are very big pit stalls. But, of course, you got to shoot for that guy with the lollipop in his hand as Joe Branch going to come out of pit road. Great stop by him and his team. Tim Holgate way back in the pack. He's going to come off 5th in line with this group.
Yeah, there you can see them off of pit road. Holgate lost out big time, really. 2 positions he lost in the consequence of pit road. Last couple of drivers just cycling out of pit road now. But that first pit stop then shows us Branch has got the entire package today.
I'll tell you who had a great stop. Austin Esperty had an 8.9 versus a lot of 9.6 and a lot of 9.0. Well, Esperty had a great stop for that pit stop, and Holgate going to go to the outside because another car is going to go past him. It's not working for Tim Holgate right now.
Nope, everyone now, the last of them are cycling through. First round of pit stops going to be scored complete here. Joe Branch leads 33 of 150 laps scored complete in the 3rd round of the Apex Infotech Indy Elite Series on RaceSpotTV. Streaming live on iRacing Live. Coming soon to iRacing is Dirt. Here's a little sneak peek as we take you side by side. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to RaceSpotTV on Facebook Live. Here from Auto Club Speedway. Checking in on the battle down in P number 7 right now. Noel McBride, Troy Eddy going at it hammer and tongs right now as they work themselves on the exit of turn 2, lap number 38. He scored complete this time by.
Yeah, and this field has really gotten spaced out apart from this battle. 41 had to get out of the throttle a little bit right there. McBride backing off, giving Eddy room here. But those green flag pit stops really allowed this field to get spread out. I mean, they looked like a group of hornets coming down the pit road, but everyone made it through, and they were fine. Everyone's back on the racetrack, and apart from this battle, everyone's a little bit spaced out. Obviously, the accordion effect going to happen for some of these guys drafting together, and as our leader goes by some lap traffic, we're getting lap traffic, Will, so that might help the draft for some of these guys back in the pack, but either way, it's pretty spaced out here.
Tim Holgate, 8.7 seconds on the gun. Right now battling it out with Adam Dock, who does look like he's recovered a little bit all of a sudden. After starting on pole position, fell down at the start of this event. Now in a nice little battle with Tim Holgate, though Holgate takes him on the outside.
Holgate has a very fast car, Will. I mean, we saw that at the beginning of this thing, but he just needs to know how to use it, and he can't use it up too soon. We know that 06 is fast. I mean, he's leading the point standings. We know he's fast. He just has to take care of that car, and he'll be able to last the run. Just didn't do it last time.
Yep, so there's the battle. There are your top 8 then. Bottom of your screen right now. Joe Branch led through the pit cycle, and he's just been hammering the laps the last couple of times around this 2-mile racetrack because he's got that gap up now to Tim Doyle up to almost 1 second. That is important for Joe Branch because if he can do that, he breaks the draft range, then Tim Doyle doesn't have the opportunity to utilize his draft.
Yeah, and Branch, you know, we see that lap car. The 11 was able to use a little bit of that lap car of Jose Godoy in that number 12 car, but it just wasn't enough for them really to catch up. So Branch is kind of out. He's got a big gap right now. Tim Doyle has to drive. He has to drive that wheel off the car in order to catch the leader right now. He needs to go out there. He's not going to have draft to help him. He's got to go down there and show he's got a faster car. And right now, as we go across the board, I'm going to check again. And no. Oh, actually, the lap times are favoring Doyle. Doyle was about a 10th quicker, so he is gaining.
2 drivers out of the event so far. Tiago Perez and Christopher Demerit. Just having a look through the field. Driver who started pretty much in last place, Jim McClure, in another battle right now as he tries to work himself back through the field. That one is with Vinicius Gotano right now as they go side by side one more time in towards turn number 1. The number 10 over the engineering machine gets the move done there in towards turn 2. Out the corner, he's fine. Quick update on Brandon Trost. He's up into P number 14 right now.
He is a man on a mission right now. I mean, he's certainly not very happy that that incident happened with the 06. And I mean, certainly, I think he came over the radio and expressed a little bit of displeasure with Tim Holgate. But nonetheless, back out at it. And Trost he's got to make up a ton of spots if he hopes to get back up there. But he's doing the lap times to catch it. I mean, a 31.816. He's running only a 10th off what Tim Holgate's running. He was the fastest car on the track last time by.
Yeah, so we're having a look here at Tony Sherman versus Robert Gort. Separated by just about a 10th of a second as they work themselves in towards 1 and 2 once again. This is now lap number 45 of 150. Been green the entire way. Had almost one caution. Brandon Trost would have been that caution. Making contact with the driver of Tim Holgate about 20 laps to go now. As Bradley Walters and Adam Dock, they go side by side for P number 5. Dock again in a fuel run just seems to be losing time.
I think he has a very quick car out of the gate, and I think it's with those sticker tires. Well, I think that's where he has the advantage, but we're starting to see him fall back. I mean, if you look at the lap board, he's already down in the 32s land. He's had a 32 flat last time by. This lap's going to be a 31.9, so he picked it up a little bit, but he's a little bit off the pace. I mean, when the fastest laps on the track are still 31.7s, still about 2/10 off that.
And 2/10 of a second at a track like this, and a race like this is worth everything. We are almost at 1/3 distance already, and we've barely been racing for half an hour here. One round of pit stops is already scored complete, and well, we are pretty much then, if this race does go green, those guys that got to lap 32 will have the advantage, but it's about 5 fuel tank loads to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 150 laps here at the 2-mile oval, so a lot of fuel stops. I mean, I'm looking down at when these guys started coming in a little bit around lap 38 or so. Lap 38, lap 39 is what these guys, or no, that's the pit lane time. What am I talking about? Never mind. That was the time they took on pit road, so ignore that.
Okay, I'm joking. Tim Doyle still about 7/10 of a second behind Joe Branch right now in that Foyt's wine machine. And well, Doyle, we know is a good thinker here. He knows he's got the raw pace, we know that, but he's not going to push too hard. But him and Joe Branch did come onto pit road at the same time. Tim Doyle, though, is one of those people that can be impeccable on pit road, and he was 0.8 of a second faster on and off of pit road to Joe Branch, even though Joe Branch had the same time in his actual box.
Yeah, and that makes such a huge difference. I mean, the pit stop itself, an 8.9 or a 9 versus a 9.2. That's huge right there. And I mean, just looking down, it adds up. Every 10th of a second adds up when you're on pit road because you're at such a slow speed. You lose so much time, but I mean, he's just not going to be able to make up that amount of time he lost on pit road. It adds up to about a second more or less when you do the math, and it shows. And he has to make that back up on the track. He has to be more aggressive next time on his pit road entry if he hopes to keep up.
Trost watch. He goes to the outside of the driver of Andreas Eek in towards turn number 1. Can't get him yet. Run to high line. What can he do in towards turn 3?
He can slipstream.
Hello.
Wow, down on the inside. Wow, there you go. That's Brandon Truss right there, showing how fast of a car he has. He just got on the back bumper.
Oh, yellow.
As the yellow's going to wave right now.
And it's Joe Flanagan. Our first caution of... No, yeah, Joe Flanagan. It looks like is our first caution of the day. Here's a replay. Back end sliding. Back end sliding. Tries to catch it. Hello, safer barrier. End of the race.
And he didn't really get on the apron. I think he hit a couple bumps, and that's all it took to get that car out of shape. And he was having a decent run, but not going to happen now. The 23 in the pit stall here. A lot of repair are going to go on to that 53 car. And that'll be our first yellow today. Going to slow everybody down. And I think, considering we're about halfway through a fuel stint, not even.
2/3.
2/3, yeah. So I would assume everybody going to come down for some gas. Now, the question is, well, actually, now that I think about it, you come down with one to go to top off?
If you're outside the top 15, maybe. If you're inside the top 15, it's not worth it at this stage. We see how hard it needs to get through a mass of traffic. Here we are then, on towards pit road. These drivers are gonna come. Let's see who's coming in. It should be everyone. It's everyone. Here they are then, all on towards pit road.
You can see all the lights on, Will. Everyone on the limiter here coming down pit road. They're going to slide into their boxes, and the pit crews, they're going to earn their pay right now because this is going to be a very important stop considering everyone's down right now.
Well, yeah, except the people you see on the banking, they are, for the most part, people who had themselves a lap down. Joe Branch is going to lose heavily, I think, out of pit road. No, he's not. He's going to keep the race lead. SPT up into second. Holgate down position.
Car around on pit road. He just blocked the pit exit. That was the 99 of Adam Dock, and wow, that was a mess right there.
Oops. Right, there, for the moment, you can see then, are the people and the movers and shakers in terms of how they came out of pit road. But let's go back a moment and show you what happened with Adam Dock. This is him coming out of pit road.
What were you saying, Will? What was your key to the race today?
Don't mess up pit stops.
And cold tires.
Yep. Catches number 39 machine there. Drama on pit road. 54 laps into this event. We're going to step aside for one moment. Back with more after these messages. You're watching RaceSpotTV on Facebook Live.
The NASCAR Beginner for Series powered by iRacing is the premier NASCAR eSports series featuring the cars and tracks from the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. The 2016 campaign saw a return to the top of the mountain by Ray Alfalla as a three-time NASCAR World Champion. The march to that championship was not easy, though, despite the fact that Ray Alfalla took home the most points in series history. It just also happened to be the tightest championship fight we had ever seen. These guys are set for the 2017 campaign, and as it has been for the 7 years prior, it is no longer going to be a straight shot to the championship. We are going to see the biggest change in this championship picture in series history, as for the first time ever, there will be a chase for the championship. We're going to go into the Homestead Miami Speedway at the end of the season with the 4 best oval sim racing drivers in the world absolutely tied in the championship. You just got to beat the other 3 guys out and you will become an official NASCAR champion. You're going to get yourself a NASCAR championship ring and, of course, $10,000. These are the iRacing eSport World Championships, the pinnacle of sim racing competition. You can catch it all season long, live coverage on iRacing.com/live.
Ready for the green. Pace cars in. Joe Branch leads away. Green flag back in the air. Let's go.
And he was a little bit further down the racetrack than everyone was on the top of the racetrack, trying to break that slipstream, and it's going to work for him, but it's going to be chaos as they head into 1.
Nice gap though between your entire field. No real bunches up on track, and that does mean is that we should get a nice clean restart here as Tim Doyle alongside Austin Esparti again into turn number 3 and 4.
And out Joe Branch's rearview mirrors right now. There goes actually Esparti's going to go to the bottom here in that 777 in the Doom machine. And not quite at the line, but he's going to have the preferred line when they head into 1 here. Meanwhile, 3 cars up on the top side, 2 on the bottom. That's Branch. No, that's actually the 56 of Walters. So Walters able to come up the field a little bit. And here comes the 99 trying to make up some ground from when he had that error on pit road.
Yep, there is the driver of Adam Dock right now. We'll go on board of him through turn number 3 and 4 right now. Your top 5. You can throw a blanket over them almost. Joe Branch somehow still leads the way in this one. But a reminder, actually, no. Let's now say Tim Doyle leads away just for the minute here. Out of turn number 2 they come. Tim Doyle to the point now. So let's go.
And it looked like Tim Doyle hit the nitrox booster right there because he flew by the 28 of Joe Branch and caution back out.
Second yellow of the day. You know what they say. Cautions breed cautions, apparently.
Right.
And Noel McBride's in this one.
And we're going to get a look at the replay, Will, but coming through 1 and 2. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Looks like the aerodynamics have taken its first victim today. 812 Marco Brazil had a little push heavy through 1 and 2, and Niall McBride was along for the ride there.
And Brandon Trost very almost was involved in that. Just ahead of those 2.
I think that's what did it, because he came right across the 812 when he was passing him, and I think the air just pushed the 812 right up into the outside retaining wall.
Well, let's get ourselves one more look if we can quickly then. From the rear. This is Brandon Trost. We're on board of him then. In towards turn number 1. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. From the high side to the low side. Cut the air off there on Marco Brazil. Nothing really wrong in terms of what Brandon Trost did. Just really hurt the cars around him. Second caution of the day then. Lap number 59 of 150 here on RaceSpotTV.
Nope.
Back live here at Auto Club Speedway. Fantastic look from the rear of your race leader, Tim Doyle, as he just pulls that engine into gear. This is a very unique opportunity then. We're going to do this restart on board from the rear of Tim Doyle. A very special RaceSpotTV fan immersion. And immediately Branch comes down to the inside in terms of that restart. Branch to the lead. Espati will go with him.
Doyle went to try and go to the bottom, didn't have room. The 777 was there. So now 11 of Doyle's going to be, actually he's going to get taken 3 wide. Hello, Tim Holgate. He's back and with a vengeance. up in that high side. A great run out of 4 right there. And he's going to make it work through 1 and 2. A power move, if I've ever seen it, right there by Tim Holgate.
But as we've seen before, you've got to make sure you don't battle too hard in terms of your pack, because it allows one person to get away. Holgate now setting his sights on Joe Branch, as he's done before in this event. Side by side, Andreas Eek, by the way. Look at these guys battling down in your mid-pack.
And Eek's going to go to the bottom side now. So it looks like one car going to hit pit road back in the pack. But meanwhile, still battling going on. Ollie in that outside lane, that number 22. He's going to fall back now. And the Mach 1 machine of Andreas Eek, he's going to come out of turn 2. And he's going to have the lead over these guys as they head down the back straightaway.
Yeah, into 3 and 4. Branch still leads away. Branch actually is having a fantastic race. We're not really talking much about him, but he's having a superb race right now. Tim Doyle closes up behind, in towards 1. Doyle to the race lane.
And Doyle taking it right back there on the bottom. Great run through 1 and 2. The slipstream once again in effect. This has effectively bunched everyone up. But these guys are going to be a lot closer. They can sniff that draft, and this is what Tim Doyle was hoping for, because it means he can go to work in battling that number 28 of Joe Branch and do it without having to catch him all the way back. Meanwhile, we see Tim Holgate behind, trying to maybe sniff a draft here, that slipstream of 28.
Yep, Tim Doyle leads that lap. Branch, then Holgate, then SPT, then Doc, side by side behind. Troy Eddy versus Wagner Pagario. You also got Marco Brazil in that mix as well. Brazil, of course, the driver who pushed very high a couple of laps ago to cause our second caution of the day.
And Brazil, despite having that accident, having a very excellent day so far. He's up 13 spots. So Brazil on the move, but also right behind him, the 10 car has also been on the move, plus 11 for Gardadello in that 10 car.
Yeah, the biggest movers in this event so far. Just having a look at other people that started at the rear. No one's really worked themselves up as far as these guys. Top 4 then have got themselves a breakaway. That camera shot, by the way. Oh, yellow.
Big wreck, big wreck. That is the 22 of Stephen Pauly. And holy cow, he caught air, Will, and he caught air big time.
Replay. Oh, just gets turned around upside down. He goes. Yep, that's some air, all right. That is some air.
And what happened was he pushed up out of the corner, got out of the throttle, maybe a little brake by the 22. 31 had no idea. He tried to get on the brakes, but just hooked him. And Stephen Pauly at that point was just a passenger in that Indy car. And holy cow, big time damage. Yeah, they're going to have to take that car on the rollback back to pit road because, oh, actually, no, I think he had to pull it back and they had to tow it back to pit road, but big time damage to the 22. Can we go on a ride with him for that wreck?
We just did.
Well, there we go.
There we are. Tim Doyle leads away. These drivers, all of them, be coming towards pit road when it's open. Pit road is open now. Everyone onto the lane.
miles an hour is going to be your pit speed tonight. Everyone, of course, they have the limiter, but you know what you could do, Will? You could shut that limiter off and try and cheat when you get close to your box because, of course, timing lines.
Okay, Brad.
Hey, I'm just saying it's a legitimate strategy.
Yeah, take the Brad Keselowski approach. Well, to be fair, he did that more at Bristol than everywhere else. Let's see who's going to come out of pit road first. Looks like it will be Tim Doyle. Indeed it is. Holgate then.
And who got third? Give it to Espity. That was close right there.
We're showing Branch on our screens.
Oh, no, actually, okay, so he thought he got it. He surged forward, and then Joe Branch said, no, I beat you the line. Thank you very much.
I got you.
Joe Branch. So, yeah, Joe Branch is going to be out in front, and I mean, Holgate's had some great pit stops as of late, but we just need to see consistency out of that car, Will, before I buy in.
Yeah, and you'll see that they have all lost time because 4 people stayed out. Brandon Trost, Marco Brazil, Vinicius Gardadello, and Dan Lee Ench. So, put Trost back up the front of your field.
Not the way he wanted to do it.
Yeah, but he's also halfway through his stint, so he needs a caution in the next 15 laps. 1 minute. Alexa, lights on. Thank you. No. My lights turn off at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was just in the dark there.
Well, it's 6 p.m. in Chicagoland.
Yeah. So. You know what? Many people would say that an Alexa, an Amazon Echo is a good thing to buy for a birthday, but your father's got a birthday coming up soon.
Yeah, he does. It's coming up in April, and I have to figure out what to get him, Will. And I was talking to you over the break, you know, what to get him, because I want to get him, like, maybe a shirt of some kind. If only there was a place, and maybe a yellow shirt, but I just wish there was a place where I could buy him a yellow shirt.
I'll tell you one thing. If he headed over to RaceSpot.tv/shop, we might have the thing for him.
What? So you're saying there's a yellow t-shirt that has the name of one of the best broadcast companies out there today. I can get it for him online and get it delivered to his door in time for his birthday?
Yep.
Well, I think I'm already sold.
There we are. That plug was brought to you by RaceSpotTV Shop and Spreadshirt.
You can get a mug there, too.
You can. Do you mind? I'm broadcasting.
Which, sadly, I wasn't able to bring with me on the car trip back because it had to go in the dishwasher.
Yeah. So, Trost leads away, but old tyres for your top 4 drivers. Times to get interesting, in my opinion.
So, to ask the, as we're coming out of 4, so I'll wait to ask. Well, actually, I'm not going to ask it, Will. We're going to see. Is it going to work? Let's find out.
Here we are. Out turn number 4, RaceSpotTV. Fan immersion for the restart. Got away cleanly, but there's a lot of battling going on down in your mid-pack right now. This is fantastic, Cisco.
Yeah, Tim Doyle right now under attack from Tim Holgate. The two Tims going at it, and behind them even more battling. But these two going to go side by side into turn number 1 right now. Tim Holgate, he's up on the high side, isn't able to get the grip, and the 11 of Tim Doyle is going to slide right past him. Meanwhile, battle behind. They're almost going to go 3 wide, but the 777 of Austin Espity is able to get out in front of that number 14 of Kinsella, Andrew Kinsella.
As Holgate moves himself back up in position then, as it's ding and then a dong. But your top 3 have pulled away. Brandon Trost, Marco Brazil, and Vinicius Cortatello. Now, one driver who was in that battle, your top 4 at the restart, has fallen down dramatically. That is Dan Lee Ench, down already 8 places in 4 laps.
Yeah, Dan Lee Ench, maybe the tires not agreeing with him for that run, or maybe goes for that fresh set of tires. It's a little bit different of a line you're able to take with that. Maybe not taking liberty with it now, or maybe he's just saving the car until a little bit later, Will. But either way, battles continue on track, and it looks like Tim Doyle is going to be able to fall behind the 06 of Tim Holgate there. Meanwhile, battle for the lead.
Yeah, Brazil moves himself to the point for the moment, but Trost is saying, not just yet. I want it back. Oh my word! Into the wall! Huge crash!
Oh, and
it's still going. It was the one we were worried about here at Auto Club. Here's the replay then. We're on board with Brazil. I'm not going to lie, he got hit there.
Yeah, but I mean, also, that was a pretty oblivious block down going into 3.
Yeah.
I mean, he did get hit, but they're not stock cars, Will.
They're not, no. Here we are then, one more look from up above. You see, Trost goes down to the inside, gets himself a little bit of a block there. We're going to stop it for you. There you can see, they're both turning left at the same time. And Trost is like, well, I've got nowhere more I can go to make contact. Hard into the wall is Marco Brazil.
Marco Brazil, not only did he just lose the lead, you also keep in mind, he was your biggest mover of the race. He was going so fast, right? He was having a really good night. Brandon Trott's going to come down to pit road here. And, oh man, and a bunch of actually more cars are going to come down pit road, but it all went wrong at 200 miles an hour. And, I mean, he knew something like that could happen. And the restart, like you said, cautions breed cautions. And everyone was super aggressive, and that's what can happen.
One driver stays out. Let's go. Number 10 machine. 24 laps he's now been on those tyres. He's going to have to come on towards pit road in about 10 laps, though. I don't get why he's not come on the lane.
Maybe he's trying to stretch the fuel. He's hoping maybe he gets another caution. But, I mean, you look, he's been out there for 24 and a half laps now. Versus the guys behind him are out for maybe at the most 9.5. You have the group up there. And then from 9th on back, they all just came down. So, I don't know what the strategy is for the 10, but he's leading the race, but he's on old tires as we come back to green.
Yep. Gonna have a look then at the restart from onboard of him. He flicks it down into gear. 78 or 150 score complete. 4 cautions here today. Here we go again. Green flag back in the air. And you'll see, I think Holgate is going to eat him up alive out of turn 2.
Look at that gap. Look at that gap. He's leaving so much of a gap there. It's kind of like a blade track effect. You leave too much gap to the pack behind you, you're going to get eaten alive, Will. And it's happening right now. Here comes Holgate.
Yep, Holgate's going to go high in turn number 3 and 4. Going to try and work the outside line then in towards turn number 1. At the line, it's going to be close. Cortadero will lead it. But now Holgate on the outside line. Can he make it work? He's taking a very, very wide line, actually. Being a bit cautious is Tim Holgate. He will get the run out of the corner. He's ahead by a little bit there, but not enough that he's able to pull clear. Going to have to go the high side, go the long way around again into turn number 3 and 4. And he's not actually managing to make it work there. They've been side by side for the entire lap. And it's all it's doing is bunching up everyone behind them.
And I think the 06 of Holgate doesn't want to force the 10 down to the bottom of the racetrack because those tires, he may not be able to go down there. I think he was trying to take it nice and safe. And as Doyle's going to clear him here, Holgate's actually going to clear them both. So Holgate's still going to end up with the lead more or less. Cortadero, I don't think he can run that super bottom line without something happening. I think Holgate basically just gave him a gift to make sure he didn't come up and maybe make contact.
Yeah, as Tim Doyle will lead this lap as they come past the stripe there. So Holgate now leads. Tim Doyle now leads. Tim Holgate is in second place. Go back on board then with that driver of Tim Holgate. You notice, oh my word, he was close to the wall there.
Yeah, he's getting very close, but Holgate's been running up there. But we also saw what happened when Tim ran up there. Obviously, that incident with Brandon Tross still in the back of his mind here, so he's got to be careful with that car. But nonetheless, side by side now, Joe Branch with that 10 car. And that 10 car is basically just a chicane for everyone on new tires.
So you can see Joe Branch running in 4th, Austin Espartee in the 5th place. Run through your list of retirees then. Christopher Demerit, Diego Perez, Jose Constante, Joe Flanagan, Now McBride, Stephen Pauly, Vinicius Moriga, and Marco Aurelio Brazil are all out. 22 drivers on the lead lap. Last one of those is this guy. It is Richard Haskins right now, who is running in that 22nd position. But Tim Doyle still leads then, but he's got company on his outside. Once again, the battle of the Tims on the exit of turn 2.
And Holgate just can't, it seems like he can't get through the exit of turn 2 as well as the 11 can down on the bottom side. And Holgate's been up there. He can come down, but I don't know if he's just more comfortable running that line right now. I'm expecting a better corner exit because he's running a little bit of a higher line, but it's just not happening for the 06.
It's not. And what we've seen that Tim Doyle can be very good at leading motor races. Just behind is the driver of Tim Holgate and Joe Branch. The three all work on a team together. Austin Espartee is in 4th, the first real rival in terms of that stable. You also notice just how bumpy Auto Club Speedway is from that angle. If we've got another car turn around, we might end up... I was going to say we're going to end up with a caution. I just can't see where that guy was. But we did just have a moment.
I'll have to watch it back and see what happened, but apparently he wasn't on the racing surface or in danger of contacting cars. So,
as Troy Eddy runs in 9th place right now on the number 39 machine. As behind him, you've got a lot of little scraps going on. Wagner Pagaro and Robert Gortis are scrapping it out. Dan Lee Ench, after that strategy call, pretty much now at the back end of your leading pack.
Yeah, and he at this point I think just needs a curveball to go his way because it's not working. He's back in 16th now. Ench has been dropping back so very far. He needs something to go his way.
Okay, that's right on board then with Joe Branch through turn number 3 and 4. Your top 3, I think, are just trying to turn off some laps right now as we're 87 into 150. We had fantastic pace at the start of this one as Doyle and Holgate go sub. Actually, no, that's Joe Branch now down to the inside of Tim Holgate. Couldn't get the move done, though.
No, and actually Joe Branch is now going to go under fire from Espartee. So Espartee trying to break the teammate stranglehold on the top 3 positions. Down to the inside goes the Doom Machine. He's not going to be able to clear him, though. And looks like the outside is going to prevail for Joe Branch. That's kind of the run I've been expecting out of Holgate. I think Holgate's just saving behind his teammate.
Yeah, because why not? You can save a lap of fuel easily in a race like this when you are so heavily in the draft. And, well, this is why I always say these races are thinking races, Cisco.
Thinking races at 230 miles an hour. But either way, as they come through 3 and 4 right now, well, gotta think. The 06 is running the numbers. They got either they're asking Alexa what the numbers are, doing some calculation, or having the guy in the box do it. But either way, there's a calculator running somewhere, figuring out those fuel numbers.
Yep, Espati runs in 4th. Gortadello, by the way, 36 laps now into a stint. I would expect him on pit road in the next 2 to 3 laps.
And he must have been expecting a caution, Will. That's really the only play that I see for that 10 car. He knew he wasn't going to be out there, and by the fuel numbers, he's going to be short again, I think, on the end of this race here, whereas these guys may be able to make it on one more stop if they can stretch it out, Will. But
2 more, I would say. 1 full stop and maybe a splash.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, about that.
I'm just thinking, Gortadello. No, okay, he can't. I was just running numbers
no
in
way
my head. He definitely can't. Okay, so
yeah,
Gortadello at this point is just he needs a caution at some point to even think about getting back in this.
But at the same time, Tim Doyle, Tim Holgate, Joe Branch, Austin Espati, Andreas Eek, and Troy Showman, they have 8 more laps on their fuel and tyres than Trost, Eddie, etc. Best place right now is this 007 machine, because another 20 laps from here will take him to lap number 112. And in a couple of caution laps, he might be able to do it on 1 more.
And that's, I mean, what a day for the 007. If he can pull that off, Will, if he gets the extra caution laps he needs, or he's able to save it somehow, I mean, talk about a day all over the place for the 007 as he goes way up to the wall. But Gortadello just came over the radio. Here he comes down to pit road.
Yep. So he will be coming in this time by. Let's show you then his journey onto the lane. A big bump it is really from the track onto the flats here. But here he is. Down at pit road speed. Take us through it, Cisco.
Yep, just coming down 55 miles an hour. You got to look for that box here. Obviously don't have the pit board. Here he comes into it, locks up a little bit, and he's going to get into his stall here. A little bit of tire lockup, and you got to think that's because of those really, really old tires he had.
Out and away in 8.7 seconds. Go on.
That was 40 laps exactly, Will, when he came down.
And yeah, some of those would be under caution, but what we forget is going from caution to racing takes quite a lot out of your tyres, and then slowing down takes a lot out of your tyres.
Yeah, exactly. The difference in speeds, and I mean, if you're under caution, you see these guys run up at the top when they come back to the restart here to make sure no one passes them. Everyone else has been running at the bottom the rest of this race here, Will, and that means they're picking up all sorts of rubber and marbles up on their tires. On the top side is battle for the lead actually going to go on right now. Holgate actually looks like he might take a look. Nope, he's going to drop in behind his teammate. Didn't think he was going to do something, but he was looking up there.
He was looking for the moment. Austin Espati's been dropped a little bit, and now here comes Holgate. Down to the inside for the race lead.
Yeah, teammate, well, maybe Tim Holgate decided, no, I'm a better team car than you are. Just a little bit, and he's going to go out to lead this thing. Oh, actually, no, Tim Doyle says, oh, no, please, I want to lead this thing. And much begins what is it Mike Joy calls it, the prom of this, nearly. No, please, you go ahead. No, please, you go ahead.
As we are getting close to 100 of 150 lap score complete, here is Tim Doyle back down to the inside in that number 11 Foyt wine machine. Just see him there, heading himself past the start-finish line. These guys have done 28 laps now on their tyres. Time then, as we hit ourselves close to 100 laps, to run you through your field here on RaceSpotTV, brought to you by Apex Infotech. And we will start with the driver at the front. That is Tim Doyle, who, well, has really had a Tim Doyle-like day today, Cisco. Been in and running all the way through, murked himself through the field to the front. What else more can you say?
No, absolutely. He had a great day for that car, and then right behind him, Tim Holgate having a very Tim Holgate kind of day, just kind of lurking. He's in that top three. He's waiting to see what his teammate does and if he can maybe capitalize and bring home his first win of the season.
So Tim Doyle leads lap number 98 here. Tim Holgate has led a number of laps here today as well in that 06 machine. Got to spare a number of thoughts though for the driver running in that Verizon number 28 machine, Joe Branch. He's led the most laps to date in this event, Cisco, but he doesn't seem to have much right now for the two Tims ahead of him, and he's got Austin Espartee on his rear end.
And he's doing very similar to what he was doing with Tim and Brandon there, kind of running in third, and then Espartee right behind him, watching the three teammates, looking to see when he can punch his way into that top stranglehold for the top three podium.
Yep, so that is Branch in third, Austin Espartee right now running in fourth in that Doom car. Different team to your top three drivers. P number 5, Andreas Eek, actually is one of only 2 drivers with a B-class license in this event. He's got himself 4 tenths per second over Tony Showen, and both of these drivers having very good outings here this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. And then right behind him, I mean, talk about a guy who's been through the cycle today, Brandon Trost. He led this race at one point. He found himself facing the wrong way in the back straightaway at one point, and now trying to get himself back in the running to win this thing.
Brandon Trost, we talk about the wards he's been through. Started close to the front of the field, has had to work his way back. Strategy is actually right now on his side. He's the first of the drivers with only 25 laps on their tyres. Troy Eddy, second in that pack of drivers right now, might be looking at a podium if things end up going his way.
Yeah, and he's on that alternate strategy. Also on that strategy behind him is going to be that 99 Adam Dockman. Rounding out your top 10 is going to be Bradley Walters, as Tim Doyle just made the left-hand turn to pit road.
Yep, there is Tim Doyle. And interestingly, Andres Eek comes in with him.
You think they're thinking pit now and then maybe do a splash at the end? I mean, it is about time. I mean, I'm looking at, for those guys, Eek, I don't know why he came in, because I'm looking at it. No, he was on the strategy. He was just stuck in the back.
Yeah,
So, yeah, these guys had to hit pit road then.
So Tim Doyle's the first one in. We expect to see all the others coming. Yeah, they are coming down the lane right now. Joe Branch, Tim Holgate, et al. All heading themselves on towards the lane.
And Will...
Oh, my word! Tim Doyle!
Yep.
This is a speeding penalty. We don't see these from Tim Doyle.
And Tim Holgate also just came onto pit road. He was doing 70 at the cones. He might have one as well.
When's the last time we ever saw Tim Doyle getting a speeding penalty?
I don't know. And Holgate's got the same thing. Holgate's got the... No, he doesn't. He got away with it. But Tim Doyle did not. The officials didn't like it. And that just took Tim Doyle straight out of this race.
He needs a caution. And more. And Doc's made a pit stop. Joe Branch has made a pit stop. But it means that Holgate now leads this race with 45 laps to go. And all of a sudden, it's mano a mano. Because, well, Austin Espartee's in that mix as well, of course. But Austin Espartee is now on pit road. And he's out in a normal time as well.
Yeah, and... I mean, Tim Doyle, he was leading this most part, and he's been up with this group all day. And to have it taken away on a penalty just absolutely stinks for that 11 team. They're going to have a long day for the rest of this race. Meanwhile, we see Tim Holgate go by. 777 of Espartee was just rolling off pit road. And as we finish up the pit cycles here, Will, a new leader takes control of this race.
And for Espartee, he's lucky there's traffic in that mix, because it's enabled him to just about keep the draft to Joe Branch. It is, just trying to have a look to see what car it is. It's that kind of green and blue car right now who's providing him with that opportunity. But I will say that he is very, very lucky is Espity right now, because normally he wouldn't get things going that luckily in his way.
Yeah, so now we have a battle of two strategies. So you got the top, I'm going to go, what is that, 6 guys, I think. 6, 7? That's 7. Top 7 guys, going from Brandon Trust all the way down to Paul Jennings. They are staying out for another, let's say, 3 or 4 laps. Then they hit pit road. Then Tim Holgate, Joe Branch, Austin Espity, these guys are going to take control of this race. And then suddenly it's a case of, will we have enough caution laps? Brandon Trust, Troy Eddy, those guys, to be able to stay out and only have to pit this last time.
Fuel tank is 32 laps here. They need 10 more laps. And they're on their 32nd lap of a stint. What we do know is they did...
09! And the 09 goes around on the pit road entry. Sorry to cut you off, Will. The 09, James McClure. He went to go into pit road, and tires decided, no, you aren't going into pit road.
The effing hippie himself, the Grateful Dead fan of Jim McClure, recently relocated from Indiana up north, comes on towards pit road with a huge head of steam. And McClure, well, not what he would have wanted.
No, not what he wanted at all. But, I mean, that you talk about these old tires and guys on pit road now, 4 of them, only 1 car still staying out on track. It's the 3 of Michael Peters, and he's on a completely alternate strategy. Everyone else, though, on pit road who needs to be. Troy Eddy right now rolling into his box. Here comes everyone into their boxes. Tim Doyle trying to get the time back. Meanwhile, you saw him pass on the outside. Yeah, they're 8 laps short. Well, I don't think they can make that up under caution.
No. If they had got themselves to about lap number 115, then it would have been fine. But Trost comes out of the lane. Eddy comes out.
Holgate's already gone.
Holgate's way gone right now.
And now this becomes a battle of Tim Holgate versus Joe Branch, with Austin Espity basically in the spectator's role because he's fallen way back to these guys. 2 of the most lovable characters in this series. Joe Branch, the guy who won the last 16th Street Indianapolis 500. Tim Holgate, previous 16th Street Indy 500 champion, as they work themselves through turn number 2. Lap number 111 of 150 here scored complete. There's your top 8 there, bottom of your screen. And, well, worth noting, Brandon Trost all the way down in P number 7. And that gap there, 8.1 seconds, that's a long way to come back from right now. Yeah, and he has to come down and take more fuel than these guys. Or
actually, no, less fuel.
Little less fuel, you're right. So... Can he make it up on the fuel alone with the fuel going in?
He's one of those drivers that maybe he might risk trying to not take tires.
Wow, that would be an interesting call considering how that worked out for the 10. I mean, considering you only have to make, 8 laps you said is the difference?
Yeah.
Are you going to lose 8 laps worth of time if you don't take tires?
No, you'll only be doing about 3.5, 4 seconds on pit road. You need about 6 to 7 to change tires. That's the difference.
Yeah, I think he's gonna need a caution at this point, Will.
A caution, if it neutralizes the field, will make things very interesting on board right now with Tony Schoen. He's moved himself up. Where did Tony Schoen come from?
He came from 21st, and he's in 5th now. So a great job by that number 31 driver.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic run by him then. And you see Andreas Eek as well, also up 14 places. 114 of 150 then. Score complete on RaceSpotTV and then on iRacing Live. Take up an ultimate break. We'll be back with more in just one moment's time. Showing versus Eek right now. P number 4, P5 on track. 117 on 150 laps, and we scored complete this time by. And well, Austin, we've seen a lot of Andreas here in a lot of battles here this evening.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, but I'm not Austin.
Cisco.
Yeah, all of us oval guys are just the same.
You know what I mean. I'm sorry.
I know.
But Andreas right now, he's been fighting for these positions.
Yeah, he has, and I mean, keep in mind that he's on that strategy. As they bring the timing back, he's on the same strategy as Tony Schoen. Came in about a lap earlier than Schoen did. They're on the same strategy that Adam Dock is, and looking for him. There's Brandon Trost. Okay, there he is. So Trost actually came in. Okay, so yeah, he came in a lap Tony Schoen did. Eek's been out there a lap later. It's only a lap, so it's probably not going to make much of a difference, but if a caution comes out, just keep in note, Eek's the highest up of these guys on the alternate strategy.
Yep. Holgate, Joe Branch lead the way by 2.5 seconds over the rest of the field right now. As well, they've got enough that they can actually start working together. These two, let's not forget, are teammates.
Yeah, they are teammates, and that means they're going to be working together. And these guys, I'm looking at the numbers here. I do want to mention, actually, no, I got a little bit backwards. Troy Eddy and, hold on, come back to me.
Okay, that's right up on board of Joe Branch. Is your timing fixed?
Yes, we're good now. So, I wanted to take a look because I got a little bit confused there. Troy Eddy and Brandon Trost, they're on the alternate strategy. They're on their 12th lap of this stint. You go and look at the leaders. Tim Holgate, Joe Branch, Austin Espity, and Andreas Ike are all, and Tony Schoen for that matter, they're all on this. They've been out there for 19 laps, so they're going to have to hit pit road first. Trost's got to use that time, that little bit extra time. He's got to make up, he's got to use those tires. He's got to make up that time if he has any hope at all of trying to get to these guys. But like you said, he's still got a big gap, and it's only been getting bigger. He's now 8.7 back of the leaders. He's going the wrong way, Will.
He is there as we're down to just over 25 laps to go in this event. Tim Doyle, by the way, after his miserable time earlier on, up into P number 12, as Gortadello is on pit road right now.
And Gardadello is completely on his own strategy at this point. He's just trying to salvage anything he can off this race. Coming down pit road, that's going to be his last stop. He wanted to make sure he can make it to the end. He is going to now. But Gardadello, talk about a guy just, he couldn't get the straight, because he stayed out on those tires, Will, on those old tires when we took the restart. He basically doomed himself if there wasn't a caution.
Yep, indeed so. As you can see there, he's P number 17 right now, as he circulates back out onto the racing surface. We go on board of him. No one really around him, so he can just blend and merge back out onto the track right now.
Hold on. Speed penalty just came into the tower. Andrew Kinsella, not even close. He locked it way time in. I think I'm seeing 3 digits on the speed gun. Yep. That was over 100 miles an hour. That wasn't even close.
Well, that's part of the reason why. We just saw that part of the replay from him. Let's cycle that back a little bit further. Show him coming on towards pit road. He was nowhere near there.
Oh, sir.
I mean, what was he doing? Oh, that's why. He spun that car almost. And then he tried to just say, okay, I'm coming on towards pit road. Because at that point, you're going to lose a lot of time anyway. It looks like he just hit the apron. And at that point, it's like, okay, I'm going to abort and come on towards pit road. And just couldn't get the car slowed down enough from there.
Yeah, and I mean, all credit to him. He didn't hit a barrier or anything, so that could have gone a whole lot worse. But, man, it has been a while since I've seen someone going through pit road at 100 miles an hour, and that must not have been fun for him doing that.
No. As you see cars coming out of pit road, they have got to hold that white line until they get fully onto the back straightaway. Otherwise, they will get themselves a penalty, which is why you see the guys taking the slow way around here. As just ahead of the driver of Andrew Kinsella is the driver of Richard Haskins. Now the driver behind Andrew Kinsella is the driver of Richard Haskins.
And all these guys are down a lap of the leaders, but the good news for Haskins, Kinsella basically at this point's got to make up time. They're already a lap down. I don't know if they're going to catch the leader. I'm looking right now. Gerdadello was too far down the grid, so I don't think he's going to do it either. So I think most of these guys who had to come down to pit road are basically out of it at this point. We got to look towards that top 12. The guys still on the lead lap are probably going to be the ones in the fight for this show here.
Yeah, as we go on board with Tony Churn right now. Oh, he's on towards pit road. And that was only a 24-lap stint for him there. And that looked planned all the way on towards pit road.
You think that maybe he's thinking pit now, get those fresh tires?
I think he might be trying to preempt any particular cautions that might end up happening. Maybe, because of course if a caution comes out now, he'll be golden.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Pit stop time, 7.9, out and away.
And he had to take way less fuel than anyone else did. Yeah, he had to change tires, but you know, that extra tenth or so might just help him. I mean, we talked about tenths, and I mean, it was only a second difference on pit road that split the leaders earlier on. Tony Schoen's going to be in a very good position when it comes down to pit road speed and everything like that.
The only thing he might be missing is a little bit of draft help, and that'll be one thing to keep an eye out. By the way, Tim Holgate. Oh, Joe Branch on towards pit road anyway. But I was going to say that Tim Holgate had pulled out a 1.2 second advantage over Joe Branch, but now Branch in that Verizon car on towards pit road for his final stop. He cannot make a mistake here.
Cannot make a mistake. He's got to be clean into the box. We're going to follow him down to the box. Make sure everything works for the 28. There's his stall. You see the white board. Going to pull in under that. Good.
That would do.
A great stop. Car down already. Revin gone. Ooh, hold on.
Oh.
Little bit of a tank slapper on the fresh tires, but he's out of pit road and looks like everything good for the 28 Verizon team.
Yep, as Holgate stays out, Espati stays out, Eek stays out, Eddie stays out, Trey stays out.
And Carr about to go around the 5, of course, he's going to be down. But that's on the inside, that's in the infield. So no caution, hold on to it, a 5. He's going to hold on to it, so the 5 will lock it down, get the tow back to pit road, but that was nearly a caution.
Yep, this is what happened with him. Oh, wait, what? He had two, that's what you talk about the apron. He had 2 wheels down on that apron there.
That's what we call auto clubbing it. You got to be careful with that because it is not a free pass around the track. It's not going to make you go very much faster. You hit that apron in the corner.
Yep, let's have a look then at him. The car gets loose, then he goes onto the apron. Then he just loops it around. Game over for him there. As Holgate is on the lane. Holgate off of the lane. Where is Joe Branch? That is the question.
Did he just go by? I think that was him.
No. It's that car just coming into shot now. Who is now just going to maybe try and take the outside line. Actually, no.
That's Bradley Walters.
No. That's Mike Peters.
Way out in front.
Yeah. No. My time when scoring is showing that Holgate is way out front.
Yeah, Branch is going to hit the start-finish line now. Oh, yeah, he is way out in front. 2 cars I saw.
No. Holgate's in front of Branch by about 2.7 seconds. And the reason for that is Holgate was a full half a second faster on pit road. But I don't understand how that... Oh, you remember you got the wiggle? The tank slap out of pit road for Joe Branch? There we are.
Is that the difference?
It must be.
That's
well, we
huge.
do remember as well that Branch hasn't been the best on towards pit road today. We saw earlier on that, for example, Tim Doyle was a faster driver on and off the pit road. But, I mean, two seconds, it's huge. As Espert will come out right behind Joe Branch.
Yeah, he will, but it's going to be in a decent position here. It's just going to be a case of can he keep up with these guys. Yeah,
so, as it stands right now, it looks as though that this will be Tim Holgate's race. He's starting to scythe himself through some traffic, but Brandon Trost, Troy Eddy, they are all scrapping it out. Interesting to know that Brandon Trost is right behind the driver of, that is Austin Espert. He's only a couple of tenths of a second ahead of him right now.
I think if Trost is looking for anyone right now, he's looking for that 06.
Yeah, or Trost looking for anyone in the draft.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying 007 hasn't seen the 06 the rest of this race ever since that little incident took place. So I don't want to completely take that off the table because Trost knows he has to pit here. He's in a very precarious situation where he's probably not going to have a shot at it. So, if, you know, I'm just throwing it out there.
Espert goes side by side with Joe Branch then for position. And Espert looks as though he is going to clear. No, he's not. My time in scoring has just gone very weird recently. Because actually, Joe Branch has pulled out a 0.7 of a second gap over Austin Espert. So, Joe Branch is resisting that challenge right now from the Doom car. But our attention is still fixated on your top four drivers. They are Brandon Trost, Troy Eddy, Bradley Walters, Stanley Ench.
He's coming in.
And they all should be coming in.
Yeah. Oh, Trost hit the apron. Hold on to it.
Uh-oh.
And he's going to go for another lap. I think he wanted to come down there. Will just hit the apron going through 3 and 4. It shot him up the racetrack, and he decided, oh, maybe I will stay out one more lap.
Let's have a listen to the replay. I think he was trying to do something. I've got a feeling he was trying to check a setting on his car and just wasn't paying attention there. But now, Brandon Trost is on his 30th lap of his stint. He heads himself on towards pit road.
And don't see. That was close. That was close. We'll have to see if he got away with it. At the cones, I know he was over, but I think you have a little bit of wiggle room there, Will. I think he's probably going to be okay, but now this is the guy we're thinking could be the guy to maybe, if anyone's going to get to Holgate on strategy, it could be Trost. We'll just have to see now as he's going to hit pit road into his stall here. Has to be perfect on pit road.
And it needs to be no more than about 5 seconds. He's taking tyres.
Oh.
6.5 out of the way. Already. Yeah, he's way gone past there. Because of the fact that Trost took tyres, it was never going to be a difference maker. Bradley Walters now coming towards pit road. Stanley Ench has done the same.
And that means this is going to be basically in Tim Holgate's hands here. And you have to look all the way back to find Espert, and Espert's way back about a corner behind. So Espert at this point, I don't think there's anything he can do unless, God forbid, a yellow comes out.
Walters overshoots there as well. That's not what you need when you're in a huge battle going on right now. He comes out of pit road. Let's see who is going to be around him. Showing has already gone past. Tim Doyle is going to go past. No.
I mean, all credit to Brandon Trost. He didn't get the lead, but he's 5th.
Yeah.
And on fresh tires.
And after that incident?
And 4th. Actually, no, now he's 4th. He just went past Deke.
Yeah. So, I mean, after those tires, that incident and those tires, I mean, that is a good run he's had.
Yeah, and he's actually going to be in a bit of a battle here with Andreas Eek in that 76. They're going to go side by side to one. Eek up on the top side. Brandon Trost, he's got a little bit fresher rubber. Got to make sure he doesn't pile it into the safer barrier there. You will make the corner there. And it looks like at this point, now we're just waiting. 7 laps to go at the line for Tim Holgate.
And arguably the biggest loser of this was Tony Schoen. We talked about how at a point in time he had a top 5 finish. He's fallen back into 6th because of the strategy between Trost, Eek, et al. And while Schoen now is just outside of the top 5, but he's still got an opportunity to close up and try and go for the battle for P number 4. There are your top 8 then. Bottom of your screen right now. Less than 10 laps to go. And, well, I will say one thing. Tim Holgate is way ahead.
He is way ahead, but Will, we also have to keep in mind that incident that he had with Brandon Trust. They said they were going to review that at the end of the race. So, we're sitting here right now, unofficially right now, Tim Holgate is basically got a good shot at this thing, but there's still a steward's inquiry to take a look at that incident. And if Brandon Trust is thinking how I think he's thinking in that Indy car, I think he thinks he's going to be on the podium.
But at the end of the day, if you know there's an inquiry, what's the one thing you can do? Go and win the race.
Yeah, exactly. Drive as fast as you humanly can and just hope that it goes your way. So for Tim Holgate, this is all he can do right here, is just go out and be as fast as he can and prove that he was the faster car out there. You know, at least get something out of that at least. But Tim Holgate, I mean, all that aside, 4.5 seconds nearly on Joe Branch. That is huge at Fontana, where we thought they were going to be bunched up in packs, and Tim Holgate said, no, I'll just lead this race by 4.5 seconds. Thank you very much.
Yep, retirees. We've got 10 of them here today. We're on board with Tony Schoen. Schoen trying to move himself forward, and that should be one position maybe for him now as he goes alongside Andreas Eek in towards turn number 3. But no, Schoen doesn't have the speed there, the straight line speed. It looks as though Andreas Eek is running a kind of lower downforce setup here this evening. Out of turn number 4 they come. Back on board with Schoen. Moves to the high side. And he's going to get the draft there of Troy Eddy, as Andreas Eek now goes down to the inside of Eddy. These three are still swapping positions, but Holgate, 2 to go this time by.
Popsicle Stick's going to be in the air. Meanwhile, that battle continues around Troy Eddy. Eddy's going to jump to the bottom side of Eek there. As while the leader pulls away, they're still battling it out for that 5th position, your last spot in the top 5.
Yep, so Andreas there, a little bit of lap traffic. They're going to both work themselves past. Andreas going to dive it down low in towards turn number 1, and he should be able to, no, he can't hold it anywhere now on that inside line. These tyres are going away for both of these drivers. As for Tim Holgate, going to head himself now to the white flag. 1 more lap to go for Tim Holgate. 2 miles around Fontana. And well, Tim Holgate, he's always going to be a favourite no matter what race he enters himself into. But today, Joe Branch did lead a number of laps early. He showed that he had some speed, but it didn't matter in the end. Tim Holgate out of corner number 4. Here he comes. He's going to win this round number 3 of the Apex Infotech Indy Elite Series. Joe Branch coming home second now. 3rd place will go to the driver of Austin Espartee and Brandon Trost in P number 4.
Andreas Eik's barely going to beat out Tony Schoen. Great finish for those guys for 5th. Troy Eddy, rather. That's Eek, Eddy, Snowden, or Schoen. And Bradley Walters is going to be 8th. Tim Doyle 9th. And Dan Liench is going to round out your top 10.
Yep, Tim Doyle there, of course. Having a speeding penalty on pit road, not the sort of thing he is used to having. Let's get your final race results then from Fontana. And yes, because the incident early on between Tim Holgate and Brandon Trost is his subject to further review. But Tim Holgate wins by 4.7 seconds over Joe Branch. Branch, 2nd, 3rd, Espartee. Brandon Trost is in 4th. Andreas Eek in 5th. Troy Eddy 6th. Tony Schoen, Bradley Walters, Tim Doyle, and Dan Liench round out your top 10. There is the remainder of results coming up on your screen right now for you. And well, what was it? 5 cautions overall we had? So I lost the over-under.
Well, I didn't make a guess, so... Oh,
I
you still
lost.
technically won.
Yeah. Yeah. we'll call it how we call it, shall we? Well, we're going to step aside for a brief moment here, ladies and gentlemen, RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live post-race coverage after these messages. You're watching RaceSpotTV on Facebook Live.